Howdy folks, in this video we are going to talk about JavaScript strings. So how to declare a JavaScript string. So you declare that as usual, for example const equals to single quote JavaScript string, and then let's see what we will see in the console. I'm using the Node.js environment, and if you're using a browser you just can put this code into your browser console and press enter. So this outputs JavaScript string. You can also use double quotes, it doesn't matter. So this is a double quotes, will be single quotes. There are also a different kind of strings, is template strings, where you use backticks and then like this. They are all the same string primitive. So when to use double quotes, single quotes, or backticks, it almost doesn't matter. If we talk about double quotes and single quotes, it's a matter of your code style, but backticks are also called template strings. You can use them if you want to put some value here, like this string. So what we do, let's define new string, hi, I am. So what this code does is actually it concatenates this hi I am with the variable story, which is JavaScript string. And the syntax of this is, so you just put a $, brackets, and something inside brackets. And it can be any JavaScript logic. Sometimes we need to access one character in our string. We can do that by just pointing out an index of a character we want to output. For example, if you have a string which is JavaScript string, and then the first character will be, let's output that in the console. It will be J. Yeah, of course, because the first character is J. Also, you can do that by doing add. It's the same result. In this case, it will be A because the index 1 is the second character, which is A. And as well, you can replace add with char add. There's some slight difference, but if you want to know more, just go to the documentation. And sometimes we need more than just one character. Of course, we can do like this. For example, we can concatenate like this. But it takes a lot of code, and of course we can see the result, gel. But we can do that simpler. We can do, for example, use slice method. So we want to cut the string from the index 0 to 2. So let's see, yeah, maybe 3 index, because we actually want to cut 3 characters. If you want to concatenate the strings, it may look like this. In this case, we just put 2 strings together, which is one string and another, and there is no space, as you see. We can put that, like, for example, like this. Or the same thing we'll do if you put the space exactly into one of the strings, here or here. There will be 2 spaces, one string, another. Sometimes you want to know the string length. Let's output this variable. So the length of JavaScript, we can write like the length of the length of JavaScript string is 17. Why do you need this logic? Well, sometimes you need to write some validation logic. For example, if the string length is equals to 15, then output some other string. There are also two interesting methods, join and split. And sometimes you need to join an array of strings to one string. For example, we have array of names, which is Bill, John, and Hannah. And in the const names, we just do the joining. Array of names is an array, actual array. And let's see what we got in names. It will be Bill, John, and Hannah separated by a comma. So by default, if you don't provide a separator, it will be a comma, but if you want to separate, let's say with comma and a space, you can do that too. Maybe you can want to separate with this like separator. Let's see, it works as well. So it puts this separator between every pair of a string. And the split is another situation. It's when you have a string like Bill, John, Anna, and you want to make an array of those names. So how can you do that? You can do like string and split, and the separator will be a space. Let's see. So as you see, now we got an array of these names. You can also split by a different separator. Let's, for example, say if we have a string like this, delimited by dashes, so we can do like this. It will also be separated. What if you want to separate by dash and j? There we got it separated, but it is Bill, and from this it will own Hannah. Another useful trick, a method of a string object, is when you have a string like this, out of spaces, like this. So you can trim that. Trim method. Now let's see what we got. It will be just string. If you need to find some substring in a string, you can use find or search methods. And we want to know where Bill substring starts. You can say index is stir indexOf, and the substring we want to find. See what we get here. Bill 11. So the Bill substring starts at the 11 index. The other method is search, and it does the same. It just tells you an index where the substring starts. And the last method we review today is replace. So for example, you have this string. My name is Bill Burr, and we want to replace some substring, let's say Bill with something else. Our replace string will be replace. We point out here what substring we search. In this case it's Bill, and we replace Bill with, let's say, Burr. And the replaced value will be, my name is Berber. Yeah. Here also put not only string but a regular expression. For example, like this, Bill. It will do the same. As we were seeing today in this video, the strings we were working with were primitives, right? So strings are always primitives. But why do we have this behavior, like for example when you put string dot and you see a lot of methods here, for example length? Why does a primitive value has properties of an object? Well, it is a primitive value, but JavaScript treats everything as an object. Strings, numbers, every primitive as an object, every object as an object, and every array as an object. Yes, arrays are also objects. So when you call, for example, length method of a string as using primitive, JavaScript sees that this is a string primitive, and it goes to the parent constructor of this primitive, which is a string object, and this string global object has built-in methods in its prototype. So for example, we can expand it using prototype. Don't do that in real applications because it leads to confusion, so it's just for the learning purposes. Let's define our own method, which will be custom method. It will be just custom string, and we can do like this. So log any string custom method. So we call this custom method on this any string primitive value as we think, and let's see what will be. So we just got this custom string. Here is another case how we can redefine some built-in methods. Consider this: we have this my name is string, and we can call add name method, point out the name we want, Joshua, and that's output us my name is Joshua. So what does this method do? It takes this, which is the actual value of a function. In our case it's my name is. It adds a space, and then it adds the name we pointed out in the function argument, in this add name method arguments. In our case it's Joshua. And as you see, when we had the previous prototype function, it's a bit different because now it's not an arrow function, but it's an actual usual JavaScript function declaration. And why that? Because due to the scope we need this argument, and in arrow function we would get this at the global this, which we don't want. We just want this at the primitive value, which is the string. So when you do the declaration with the function keyword, and when you use this, so this is scoped in this local function scope, and in this local function scope this will be equal to the string you use add name with. In our case it's my name is, and then you just have one argument for a name, so you can do this logic. That's all for today, folks. Hope you learned something new. Bye.